Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and over the past few weeks we've been able to see even more content and features coming out as part of the 11.15 PTR update that is currently available for testing, with many of these features actually what sounds like coming out to live realms very soon, at least based on the most recent calendar. So this patch may actually be dropping real quick, and it seems like this update is mostly focused on adding some of the much needed gameplay features and quality of life improvements for many classes and players out there, but also bringing with it a variety of additional content and new ways for players to be able to get gear and catch up a bunch of their characters as part of this catch-up update. In today's video, I wanted to go over some of my favorite features so far that I've been able to experience over on the PTR, highlighting the ways that this update is going to change the way that you play your class, but also the way that you interact with some of the content, as well as so many new collectibles for you to add to your transmogs as well as mount collections. As always, if you guys want to see more regular Season 2 War Within content or PTR content for patches like 11.15, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. Now, initially I missed this feature completely, but the cooldown manager is absolutely great to see. Weak auras and using add-ons in order to give players better ways to display procs, display stats, track abilities, track buffs, track debuffs, and really get that minute information so you can really clean out your gameplay, really get some accuracy in terms of your output, and finding better ways for you to be able to see these procs instead of like looking at the top right of your buff bar where things kind of just blur together. Having those things pop out in front of your screen has been helpful for so many players, and they're finding ways to integrate weak auras and add-ons to track those cooldowns as part of the base gameplay with the new cooldown manager. It is a feature that I completely skipped out on initially for 11.15 because I thought, okay, well, I mean, I use some weak auras, but I don't really need it. But there's actually a decent bit of weak auras here to track, at least as of this moment. I haven't found a way for you to be able to like whitelist or blacklist certain auras and buffs yet, but it would be kind of nice to be able to clean up some of them because I don't need to track every single one of them at all times. But at least they are trying to be very detailed in terms of what things are tracked for each class, whether it is abilities with a short cooldown or long cooldown, something that is part of your utility spell, something that's part of your crack control. All of these things are meant to show up and find ways for you to be able to see those things easier and placing them kind of in the center of your screen, very similar to what players do a lot of the times with some of the different weak aura packages. It shows you essential cooldowns from things like your Crusader Strike, Judgment as a Paladin, or even Avenging Wrath. For Shadow Priest, it'd be things like your Mind Blast cooldown and some of the other talented CDs. You get a variety of utility cooldowns, which usually feature interrupts, mobility, CC. So for mages, it'd be like things like Counterspell, Blink, Ice Block. You have track bars, which track the duration of things like Combustion or Shield Block, or like your Eclipse window as a Boomkin. And those things can be very important because for some classes, being able to maximize the duration of some of these buffs, like a warrior really not refreshing Shield Block until you absolutely need it to the very last second. In some cases, it could be absolutely crucial when it comes to maximizing your resources, maximizing the uptime of many of your CDs, and it just gives you a lot more of that crucial information. But you also can track buffs as either icons or as a proper buff. So things like your Nether Precision can also be tracked, Backdraft procs for your Warlock can be tracked, Maelstrom weapon stacks for a Shaman can be tracked, so it can give you a lot of useful information without necessarily having to get a weak aura and finding ways to customize it or make it yourself. So it's good that they're adding some of those things into the game. There's a lot of different specs and a lot of different classes for them to go over, so there's a lot for them to really do with this package of cooldown trackers. But if they can do this successfully, this could be pretty much a gateway for so many players that don't necessarily utilize them to start watching their procs, watching their tracks, and especially if you can maneuver those things towards the center of your screen so you don't have to miss out on the action and mechanics while being able to play your class more optimally. I think this could be overall a pretty big boon for many players out there. It isn't a feature that's going to be forced on the players, but I'm glad that it does exist and how they're continuing to improve on the overall UI and the default options available within War Within. Another feature that I'm actually somewhat excited about is corruptions making a return. At first, when I heard that horrific visions are making a comeback for 11.15, I was not that excited. I remember having to do horrific visions to max out the cloak for every single one of my alts, and the legendary cloak questline took forever. So many alts to run visions through as a mandatory piece of content. But this time with it being not mandatory, but rather as a feature for you to dive into, have some fun with, try to find a way to break through the content, create a bit of a difficulty for you to overcome and get loot and rewards out of it, that angle sounds a lot more fun. And with that returning, corruptions apparently are set to return in 11.1.5, although they're still trying to figure out how they're going to have them function. Originally it was going to be weapon enchants, but instead it's going to be as armor enchants most likely, but we'll see as we get more testing over the next few weeks. Corruptions were a unique mechanic back from the BFA expansion, very much a voidy and Nazathian style way of enchanting our gear. Previously, we would be able to corrupt certain items on our character with a kiss and a curse benefit, as in we would be able to gain additional power with shadowy tendrils blasting our foes with mind flays, but we also need to watch out for eyeballs spawning all around us that deal more and more damage the longer we stay in their field of view. Or even have shades that spawn out of the nether chasing after us and either catch up stunning us, which means that you literally have to fight off demons that only you can see and nobody can help you with to try to keep them at bay in order to draw more power from the corruptions. But if those things can be contained within PvE content, I think that could be really fun as part of a way for us to be able to gain additional power as part of this patch, as 11.1.5 is going to be a pretty big catch-up patch. So if you're still behind on your dungeons, Delve Conquest, or even Raiding Conquest, it is meant to grant us additional power with a variety of different bonuses, from Echo and Void that will pulsate shadow damage around your character, a Gushing Wound which has the chance to bleed the target for heavy damage, or even a Void Ritual that would give you a proc increasing all secondary stats by quite a bit. So they're planning on potentially making this enchants come back as armor enchants instead of weapon enchants, because that way we might be able to stack a bunch of these all together. I'm not exactly sure if they will come back with a kiss and a curse mechanic, but I'm actually kind of excited at the idea of being able to bring those corruptions back into the game, as it was a feature that a lot of players in BFA did enjoy. But it also turns out quite a number of players missed out on BFA completely, so this will be an opportunity for them to re-experience exactly what corruptions play like, while also gaining additional power when it comes to your endgame Season 2 progression. With the return of horrific visions, I've actually been able to dive into them more and more, and I've grown to like them a little bit. They add quite a bit of a different type of challenge that kind of has you managing your insanity. And it's not that the enemies are all that tough, but every single hit that you take really hurts your insanity more than your health bar. So not only are you managing health as a resource, but your insanity ends up being another one that you really have to be careful around. And being able to plan around carefully a vision in order to be able to delve further in, slay more bosses, take on bigger challenges to have better loot at the end of a run has actually been kind of fun, and the progression of it, I actually been enjoying it over on the PTR. And there's going to be so many different ways for you to be able to get a bunch of rewards from visions, from cosmetic armor pieces to a mount, but also even challenge rewards. As you delve into visions and you delve into some of the more darker, deeper, more dangerous corners of the event, you'll be able to find certain things called masks. And these masks can be used in order to add an extra affix into your vision to make it a little bit more challenging. And they're adding even more masks that we originally had back in BFA to create a really big challenge out of this entire event. Defeating the full vision with all masks allows you to even unlock a unique reward, a purple bike, which looks absolutely amazing, as well as a variety of other rewards that you can unlock during the event. So it'll be fantastic not only for some gear catch-up, as it does offer significant gear progression, but also there's plenty of cosmetic rewards for you to take back home with if you're able to suffer the challenge of the visions with all the affixes enabled. I also think another big update that I like about this patch is it's a big catch-up bonus for all of your ults and any players that are looking to dive into Season 2. There's so many new opportunities for a brand new leveling character in 11.1.5, from a variety of different events to returning features to brand new game modes that all offer significant gear, but also a buff that is available throughout this entire patch that grants everybody additional EXP for some brand new ults. Like the actual buff itself of Winds of Mysterious Fortune, even though they haven't said much about it, it does provide significant bit of EXP, but also reputations for the last few expansions and bonuses throughout Kaz Algar in order for players to be able to get additional bonuses, which I'm yet to receive on any of my ults, from PTR testing, but I'm assuming it's going to be currencies or possibly gear or possibly even cosmetic items from the Winds of Fortune buff. Besides this, there's so many different events in the game, from the Arathi invasions to a new boss rush mode to the visions to so much opportunity for players to be able to get champion track and even hero track gear on brand new characters. And there's so much content for anybody looking to play and gear some alts to be able to collect a bunch of cosmetics, but also looking to grind out a bit of gear. Though even if you're someone who, let's say, been doing hundreds of delves, hundreds of dungeons at some point throughout this patch, or maybe even getting tired of the new raid, all of this content is going to give you alternative gearing methods that grant you some significant power, which I'm extremely excited for. And it seems like this patch will be fantastic for anybody looking to play alts or potentially even swap to a brand new main. Another part of 11.15 that I actually do enjoy is a fairly decent trading post refresher. So far on the trade post, we've had definitely certain themed items, usually in the cutesy variety, flowers and butterfly and fairy type of mogs, but I think the boys back home are going to enjoy some of the new stuff that they got arriving with this trading post. Not only is the trading post itself also getting a brand new update, allowing players to actually have a shopping cart, so you could place all the items you're interested in a shopping cart before you have to buy them, instead of buying all items individually. This way you can try to figure out and allocate your trading post items accordingly if there's too many items that you want to grab, but you just cannot wait to buy every single one of them. There's a bunch of new items with some really good looking mogs in here as well. Of course, we'll have cutesy things such as a hedgehog mount, which looks great on its own, but then we have some lava-themed mounts as well as mogs like a lava-born chimera. And there's going to be a pretty big lava theme this time around specifically. From weapons like the cold flame chopper, which has this more of fire blue lava aesthetic, to straight up lava guns red flame burner, but also full lava themed armor sets like a lava born battle plate, which looks absolutely amazing. And the number of hordes I feel like is going to be maybe a bit overkill with Tauren in particular, but the more horns the merrier. Then you also have the Molten Inferno helmet. This one looks absolutely amazing. I think any shaman out there would love this piece specifically, just so you can really complete your full look of this Molten Elemental Ascendant. Besides this, we also get some Drustvar looking equipment as well. From a blood blade to a blood fist, which had a variety of these Drustvar undead looking weapons, which looks amazing. We have offhand pieces with Night Hag stave as well as Night Hag fetish, which also look pretty amazing. The Drustvar look in particular looks insanely good, and I think for a lot of druids this is going to look great. Then we also got an assortment of some childhood items like turtle backpacks, nunchucks, pole arms, katanas, and sais. So any of you that enjoyed turtles in your childhood may be a huge fan of some of these items coming up in this trading post. While not all the items are previewable over on the PTR, you can at least see kind of the direction that they're going. And I like this huge refresher for trading posts that's going to be part of the 11.15 update, which hopefully means that a couple of next months of trading posts once the new patch launches should be fairly exciting to dive into. And for many of you that have been saving up on the trading post currency and haven't had a reason to spend it, hopefully this time around the trading post will give you something you're looking forward to. But with that being said, as always, I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give this video a like. I would very much appreciate that. Join our Discord community to keep up with all the newest updates, whether it is for 11.15 Season 2 content that is live right now, or for any future updates to the PTR realms. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and which of these features is your current favorite. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.